Hi, I'm John and I'm 55. A lot of people are trying to fit in exercise with the demands of career and family life. I'm going to share how I went from couch to running a marathon in 3 hours and 5 minutes. I never ran before I was 45 years old. When I was in high school, I played water polo, but running, I found it awful. I really hated it. And I had started a couple times trying to run. Always had pains in my knees, and I thought, I just couldn't. I just thought, I'm physically not made for this. And then at 45, work stress and life stress, and you start questioning a lot of things. And just one evening actually, I decided to go running, and we had a park not too far from our house, and I know that if I ran to the park, around it and back, that would be, there's like 4 or 5 kilometers, and I had never run that far before without stopping several times. So I just put on some crappy running shoes, which I had, and went out and did it. And to my surprise, I was able to do it without stopping. Now, a couple days afterwards, I was still really sore. 30 years of little exercise really was not good. Well, at that time, no, I'd say 25 years. So mid-40s then. But it made a huge difference for me that I started, and I knew I could. And I don't know, was it 3 days or a week later, I tried it again. I was able to accomplish that. And after doing that 4 times, I got this harebrained idea that, hey, I'm gonna try doing a marathon. I bet you I could. And searched the internet for a marathon plan, and they all seemed so complicated. Oh God, just seemed impossible. And then I found one super simple one. It didn't explain anything about how to run or proper gear. Just said some distances and how far to run on which days of the week. I think I ended up running towards the end at, I don't know, maybe 40 kilometers a week. I'm pretty sure that was the most, and didn't have a long run that was longer than 20 kilometers. And so I started the plan, and I told myself that if I were able to get through running 10 kilometers on one block, that I would sign up for the Hamburg Marathon. So eventually time point came where I had a 10K run in the plan, and to my great surprise, I was able to finish it really sore. Had a lot of chafing on the nipples. Any man who's ever faced that, you know what I'm talking about. It's pretty uncomfortable. But stuck with the plan, and spring of the following year, I ran in the Hamburg Marathon, having trained through the winter here, and I'll never forget the feeling of crossing that finish line, that sense of accomplishment. It was amazing. I was running down the final stretch, and my in-laws were on the side with our 2 kids. They were pretty young at the time, just little guys. But they lifted them over the barrier, and my daughter and my son ran to me, and then they ran through the finish line with me. And I think even my daughter got a medal. Confused the hell out of the people there at the finishing line, but it was a great feeling for all of us. Somewhere we actually have a picture of that, the three of us going through the finish line. So, I mean, it's for the first marathon that anybody does, it's an amazing feeling. I was in tears at the end of it. Well, I was at the second marathon too. But so after that first marathon, I kept up my training, kept working hard, and got myself a watch, you know, a nice Garmin watch to help me track my running. And I was doing quite well, you know, making progress and everything. But then stress from work came along and interrupted my training. And one thing led to another, and I stopped training. And it was a while before I started again. I don't know, maybe a year or so. And then after starting, I went out too hard, you know, every run going way too fast, and strained my calf muscle. And I thought it was just a cramp. I really got the motivation back. And then quite a bit of time went by where I didn't do any exercise. And then 4 years ago, we did a ski vacation and tried putting on my, well, I put on my ski pants. We were skiing and they kept popping open the whole time. And it was super embarrassing, you know. I just felt awful because I put on so much weight. I mean, at that point, I had put on, well, I think it was about 25 kilos, roughly 50 pounds. So I decided, you know, I've really got to start running again. I need to exercise, and running was the only thing I ever really did consistently. And that was about 4 years ago. So now I've been running regularly, following my training program pretty religiously, and it's been great for me. I mean, what I love about it is I feel better, you know, both physically and emotionally. And it's nice setting up these goals and seeing progress and seeing things happen. You know, when I ran in the first marathon in Hamburg at 45, I had a finishing time of 4 hours and 8 minutes. And then long break, and I came back, started training again, took it more seriously. And then I ran in the Copenhagen Marathon. And in the Copenhagen Marathon, I had my heart set on qualifying for the Boston Marathon. So that would have required me to run, I think it was a 3:35, 3:30 or 3:35. Don't remember exactly. And it was going okay until about kilometer 36. And then it was awful. I got a nasty cramp in my calves and in my hamstrings. And I had to walk a little bit, stretch it out a little bit, and it slowed me down incredibly. And I ended up with the finishing time of 3:40, which was still a good improvement. I mean, it's 28 minutes over my time when I was 8 years younger. So, you know, on one side it was good, but didn't quite hit my goal. And, you know, looking back, I know that the fundamental problem was that all I did was run. I mean, I did a little stretching afterwards, but that was it. I didn't do any strength training whatsoever. Never did any form drills. And didn't stick too well to this idea of polarized training, where you're doing this 80-20 or 90-10, where you're doing the bulk of the work at this lower heart rate, and then the small 10 to 20% where it's more speed work. So I decided to first and foremost beef up the overall volume. So I was running up to 85 kilometers a week and tried increasing it slowly. Got another calf strain, went to a physical therapist, and then started really learning a lot about what you have to do to avoid injuries. And it is all that core work and strength training. I mean, the core work is super important because it helps you really keep good running form. And as you get poor running form, you know, you start hunching over. It puts a different strain on your calves and on your hamstrings. The whole posterior chain gets weaker. And that's how you get cramps, bad ones, or other injuries too. Get really bad injuries. So I knew I had to make some kind of change. So I started doing some very basic strength exercises for my legs. And then I wanted to find something to help me with my core. And I was never really good at doing just exercise for exercise's sake. I wanted to find something a little bit more playful. And my son had been bouldering. It's a great sport, and it's great for your core. And anybody who hates doing core workouts, check out bouldering. It's really fun, and it gets your upper body and your core in even better ways than all the traditional core training, just because it's not so focused on very singular movements. It's very diverse, complicated movements that you're doing. So it's much better for your core. But you still need to do other strengthening exercises for your legs and stabilizers, like in your feet. So that's good complementary workouts to do. Here's a really nice stretch. I love this part here. So many coaches will tell you, you know, just trust in the plan, stick to the plan. That's why I want to emphasize in this video the whole notion of consistency, why consistency is so important. Because if you have a plan for your running, that's what's going to help you to stay in it, to enjoy it, and to see some real progress. I mean, you don't have to be a super performer. I'm no top athlete, but I've been able to see some really good progress, and I contributed 100% to consistency. I've got a really good plan that I follow, and you got to look at your plan in terms of not just the running, but the other things that you do around that, you know, the stretching, the warm-up, the strengthening exercises, the form drills. So look for a plan, follow it. Find something that fits your interest and your capability level. So wherever you're at, you want to start there and work with that, and you will see progress. If you are very consistent, if you find your way to, you know, in the winter and the coldest of nights, when it's dark out and it's rainy, you find that motivation to go out there and run, you'll come back home and you'll feel so good about yourself. I was just talking to my sister about this today and saying, you know, for me, it's like being a kid again. Hey, how often do you get to go out and get your clothes soaking wet and come back in and say, hey, I'm all wet here? That's one of the nice things about running. If you can look at it that way, it's a really good thing. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like the video, you know, hit the like button and go for a subscribe, and I'll try to put up more and more videos on a very consistent basis. Thanks so much.